I lied in my last video. I'm kidding. I just did that for dramatic effect. But I did change my mind. After editing and chopping it down into something somewhat coherent and watching it, I realized a lot of the message was missing when it was all said and done. And the reality is me getting stuck on this need to try to tell my story from the beginning would be like a 4-hour video, and I'm not making a major motion picture here. Nobody's going to watch a 4-hour video. It's going to have to be cut into smaller pieces. And then, the algorithms are going to show it to everybody out of order, out of sequence anyway. It doesn't really matter. I just need to start and put it into bite-sized pieces that people can actually watch. It just comes down to decisiveness and action. And so I'm going to take action. And even though I've been historically known to be indecisive, that's something that I'm working on changing. Speaking of indecisiveness, even though I was certain about what I was going to say 10 minutes ago, now that I'm out here, I've become indecisive about what it is that I want to say and how I want to say it, which is ironic because that's what this video is about. And people that know me a long time, family members and friends from decades past, they know that I used to really struggle with and agonize over small decisions, even just like what to order at a restaurant, because inevitably whenever I made a quick decision to satisfy some sort of time limit or to please somebody, I was typically not really that happy with it in the long run. And so once I did finally make up my mind though, I rarely changed it because I knew I had weighed out all the options and settled on something that I really liked and truly wanted to do. In more recent times, I've worked on honing that procedure and reducing the amount of time it takes to come to good decisions by looking at historical information. But sometimes, no matter how hard and how long you've thought about something and the decision that you've ultimately come to, sometimes new information comes to light. And what intelligent and responsible people do when new information comes to light is you digest it and then you reevaluate your situation and decide if the original decision was the right decision or if it's time to make a new decision. And so some new information has come to light in this past year. Things have bubbled up to the surface, things that I've kind of always known were there and things that I had no idea about that have really shown some light on the direction and choices I've made in my life and where I'm at and how I got here. And so those are the things that I really have felt that need that I need to talk about and share to create the context that I feel I need to create for people to understand where I'm going and what I'm doing. The point is, I'm constantly reevaluating where I'm going and what I'm doing. And, something that's gotten in my way a lot in the past is either not being able to make a decision or not really trusting that I've made the right decision or changing my mind after finding new information and realizing it might have been a different way or a better way to do it. The reality of overthinking everything like I do is that 6 months from now, whatever videos I'm making then and whatever things I'm doing, whatever business and whatever therapy or whatever else it is that I'm doing, that people watch videos that I'm making 6 months from now, they're probably not even going to care about this video today and all the things that it took to get me to where I am now and where I'm getting there. It's all contextual to me only. And there will be people out there that will be interested, but ultimately there will be few that actually care. And I could just start with where I am today and leave out the journey of the past few months, and very few people would probably even wonder about it. The reality is that the people that are out there in the world trying to do good things and help other people are trying to do good things and help other people, and they're not worried about being criticized over how they got there, because whatever journey they've been on in the life that they've lived and the lessons that they've learned have been the things that gave them the insight, the wisdom, the knowledge to do what they're doing and get them on the path that they're on now, which is ultimately to help people that have gone through things that they've gone through to overcome them and help them to identify struggles in people's lives that they're unaware of so they can overcome them and move past them, rather than being stuck for years and years like people like me that I have, that's, just finally getting to this point in my life at 47. If I could help somebody else in the world discover these types of issues and overcome them at 27 or 37 and save them a decade or two of struggle and pain, then it's worth it, and it doesn't really matter how I got here. There's been a lot of things that have bubbled up to the surface in this past year that really led me to where I am and gave me the direction that I'm on. There was things that I've been aware of for a long time. I knew for a long time that I've suffered from low-level depression and that I've had anxiety, particularly, social anxiety. And I know that I'm very intelligent and very smart, but I also know that my mind works differently than a lot of the people around me. So I've spent years and years trying to hone myself into a persona that people would like and accept. And so, I've spent a lot of time when I am around other people, trying to not be myself and actually be what I think people would want me to be so that they would like me. Some of the things that have bubbled up to the surface in the past year, other than things like finding out I have ADHD and stuff like that, is becoming more aware of how things like food and diet affect me mentally, not just physically. Like, I've known for a long time that I'm lactose intolerant, but what I didn't know is that certain ingredients actually have a bigger mental effect on me than I ever knew. Like, for example, supplements with turmeric actually make me more depressed than supplements without turmeric. So, for a while I was taking that as something to improve my state of being, and the whole time that I was taking it I was just miserable. But I know that when I stopped taking that supplement, shortly after, I realized I was a lot happier and less depressed. So that's a whole video for another time, and I could go really deep into that as I struggle to make videos that are short and concise. But clearly I'm still at the beginning of this journey, but I have been on many others, and I have gained some wisdom and experience along the road, and my goal is to help share those insights and that information with other people that might not have gone through those battles and overcome those things yet in their life, and potentially help them take the shortcut around or over, rather than being stuck by the roadblocks that I've been stuck by. One of the many things that I have realized in the recent past that has held me back has been self-confidence and self-esteem. Now, I've known for a long time that I've had low self-esteem, or I've lacked self-confidence, but I haven't understood the full depth of how or why that was until recently. It's only been in delving more into psychology and therapy and trauma responses and those types of things, it's really come to light the things that I've been dealing with that I didn't know I've been dealing with. I was recently in a group session about ADHD. For a long time, I didn't think that I had ADD or ADHD because the most common symptoms don't really resonate with me. So I figured it was something else, and it couldn't have been that. But even though I was reluctant to and almost didn't even go to this webinar about ADHD, that pretty much blew my mind. It was like opening a can of those little spongy, colorful rubber snakes that spring out everywhere. You know, when somebody who's an actual psychologist tells you about the symptoms and how they can apply differently to different people, and you spend the better part of 45 minutes with them explaining to you who you are and why your life's gone the way it has, when they're not even talking to you, they're just explaining the condition. It was really upsetting and relieving and mind-blowing, and really opened my eyes to the need for formal evaluation and formal therapy. I've been thinking a lot lately about vulnerability and people's abilities to be open and honest with themselves, with family, friends, strangers, and that's something that I've always struggled with. I have always been afraid of being myself around other people for fear that they wouldn't like me, probably from early childhood, when I had that situation where, before I was old enough to really know myself or be able to filter myself, I experienced a lot of people that didn't like me. And the reality is there was a lot of other reasons involved besides just quirky personality or whatever else. Ultimately, that really taught me early on that it was bad to be honest and to be open and vulnerable with people, and to let people in to know your real self. And so over the years, I've worked really hard to not do that. I worked really hard to be somebody I thought people would like. I've worked really hard to appear to be happy, appear to be organized, appear to be normal, I guess you'd say, which is ironic because we live in a very abnormal world with a lot of abnormal people. And honestly, the people that are probably the happiest are the people that are just themselves, and the people that aren't trying to be somebody else, and people that aren't trying to pretend and make people like them. And in today's world, things are different. We're evolving quickly. We understand a lot more about psychology and psychological and emotional conditions and trauma responses and those types of things. And it's been really interesting to observe as I am becoming more aware and more educated about what that actually is and what that looks like. I'm seeing more and more people around me that have actually been doing the same thing that I've been doing, and I didn't even realize it before. So it's crazy now to look around and see the things that you didn't used to be able to see. The power of vulnerability. It's something that I am weak at and that I am working on, and that has been one of the main things holding me back from moving forward in my life, is that in order to be myself, I have to show my real self to others. In order to be myself, I have to be okay with not everybody liking it. I have to be okay with the fact that the people that have known me for a long time that have not known the real me, that are maybe not going to like me as much if they know the real me. There's a whole host of things that come along with being authentic and being vulnerable. It's scary. Vulnerability is scary, but it's my realization that the power of being able to be vulnerable is amazing, and it's something that I'm striving to work on and to improve on regularly. I'm not necessarily dropping mind-blowing wisdom or anything like that. This is just the intro. Still, I'm at the beginning of my journey here and my story here, but the point is that I see a lot of people around me struggling with similar things, and it's driven me to get over my insecurities and my issues with being vocal and being social and telling my story, because I feel there are too many of us out here struggling, and there needs to be more people helping. And I think that I can help. I think that I have to help. I think I need to help. I think that I don't know exactly how I'm going to help, but I know that I'm going to try to help. I'm going to improve myself so that I can help other people help themselves. So this particular video may not have had a super clear objective other than to say that I am here working on myself, bettering myself, helping myself, because I want to help others. I want to help others like myself, but to help others, I have to help myself. And the best way to learn something is to teach it to others. So as I'm learning these things, I'm going to be sharing the information in hopes that it can help others in the process. I know that the things that I've been learning, the things that I have been doing have been helping me immensely, and I know that they'll help other people. And that's why I've become passionate about sharing the message and sharing the information. There's a ton of people out there in the world that are very unhappy with their lives and very unaware of why. And there's a shortage, I think, of true happiness in this world. I know that I've gone 47 years without it, and finding that enlightenment, finding that ability to be happy with oneself, and the ability to look inward objectively, see things for how they really are, and find the courage to grow and find the courage to be vulnerable. All these things are new to me, and I see a lot of people in the world struggling with the same issues. So it's my hope that somehow the things that I'm learning that are helping me will help other people if I share that information, I share those resources, and share the path, share the roadmap, the journey. It's my goal to share all the things that are helping me, whether they are physical, emotional, mental, diet, exercise, gratitude, meditation, therapy, conversation, relationships, whatever it is, all the things that I've struggled with and all the things that I am weak at and working on and growing in. I know there's a lot of other people struggling with those same things. And so it's my goal to share what I'm learning in hopes that it helps others. I know I've probably repeated some of this stuff multiple times at this point, but it is what it is. I repeat myself a lot, and I say things that I feel are important repeatedly, and that's why. Anyway, all that to say, I've realized it's more important to share what I've learned and my experiences in whatever order they come out of my brain and whatever context they happen to be in at the time, rather than trying to spend countless hours, days, weeks, and months trying to curate something that ultimately I may never finish and people wouldn't actually watch in its entirety in one sitting anyway. So this is going to be a series of short videos, stream of consciousness, that are going to talk about some of the things that have been on my mind lately. I'm going down a road and I take a lot of twists and turns and I wind around a lot and I'm always in the weeds, but I assure you there is a point, there is a direction, and there is a reason and value and a lot coming. So I hope you've enjoyed Story Time with Troy, and if you found some value in it, if it made any sort of sense at all, please definitely drop a like or a comment. Send me a DM if you want to chat, if you got some insight. Maybe you can help me out, maybe we can help each other. If you know anybody that might find value in the information or the direction I'm going, please share it with them. And my goal is to help myself by helping others, and helping others to help themselves helps me. It's about learning, and it's about growing, it's about overcoming and finding success in life, mentally, emotionally, business and family and friends and everything. Again, I hope that at least some of what I'm saying makes sense and resonates with some of you. I hope it'll be helpful in the long term for somebody out there that's gone through the same struggles that I've gone through and maybe hasn't quite made the same realizations I've made yet. I appreciate everybody's time immensely, since time is our most critical and finite resource. Thank you.